For the times they are a-changin'.
We were there because we had to be there.
We weren't going to take it anymore.
We had to have our civil rights.
And they decide to fight for them on April 5th, 1977. Proud and defiant, 500 to 600 people in wheelchairs with walking canes and hearing aids storm the regional office of Health, Education, and Welfare in San Francisco. Their purpose? To stop discrimination against the disabled, no matter what the consequences.
Our role that afternoon was to ask the people in the federal bureaucracy to call Washington and press for the signing of 504 as drafted.
For the disabled, the signing of Regulation 504 is the difference between living and existing.
We're more than handicapped without these laws. We're crippled.
504 means access to public transportation and public spaces. It means free public education and no job discrimination. All basic American civil rights, unless you're like Mary Jane Owen, who cannot see and cannot hear without an aid.
The general attitude was, you don't really know what's best for you, and we will do what is right over time. When? We're tired. When?
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.
For thousands of disabled people across the nation, the answer is now. In a grassroots movement, they stage a sit-in at 10 HEW offices across the country. In Washington, protesters put newly appointed Secretary Joseph Califano on the hot seat, demanding he sign 504.
I understand how you feel.
No, you don't.
Within 24 hours, the demonstrators are forced out of the federal buildings. Everywhere, that is, except San Francisco. Instead of giving in, they move in what will become the longest occupation of a federal building in U.S. history.
I had a moment of, do I really want to do this? I mean, I was thinking of, some of the things that had gone on in the 60s and the fire hoses and the mace cans, and I thought, well, it didn't have that kind of a feeling.
Nevertheless, officials try to sabotage the demonstration.
The biggest thing was that malicious unplugging of motorized wheelchairs at night.
Those kinds of things did nothing but make us stronger.
We're speaking of something that goes beyond our bodies. Our priorities are not comfort. Our priorities are justice.
We shall not be moved.
The community rallies behind the demonstrators as the days pass. The Black Panthers send in cold sandwiches. Others bring in mattresses and a portable shower.
The restrooms here are far from accessible to disabled people. They have towel holders that you have to be Wilt Chamberlain to hit. 1
week into the takeover, some of the demonstrators decide to hammer the point home. They go on a hunger strike.
I'm trying to embarrass President Carter in a hunger strike. However, attendant to that is a bit of diarrhea.
Yet their spirits are intact. Each morning, Jeff Moyer leads the protesters in song. No amount of singing will change Califano's mind. Ramps and services cost money, lots of it. He has to convince schools, hospitals, and transportation systems to spend it.
Doesn't do any good to put out a set of rules if nobody's going to follow them, or somebody's going to go to Congress and say, well, I'll get them repealed or changed.
2 weeks pass. The deadlock continues. Meanwhile, the difficult living environment is jeopardizing the health of several demonstrators.
I'm a spinal cord injury. Someone must turn me during the night. Well, often it must be done by a person who has no experience in turning me. And it's very painful. There's very little rest at the end of a night.
If one of us got weak, then the others gathered around and gave us strength. So we never lost sight of why we were there.
How can you ask if I'm happy going my way? You might as well ask a child to play.
Just sharing in the ups and the downs.
There's no need to discuss or
it was just powerful.
Powerful enough to cause change, if not politically, then personally. Mary Jane Owen remembers one young woman's wish.
If you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said, I wish I didn't have to be crippled anymore. Because I always wanted to be beautiful and I didn't want to be crippled. And she said, now I know I'm beautiful. Now I know I'm beautiful as I am.
I won't ask of myself to become something else. I'll just be me.
We're just people. Humanity should recognize itself, not its differences.
Keep your eye on the prize. Hold on.
Hold on, they do. 21 days, 26 days. Then, finally, 28 days later, the prize at last is theirs. The signing of 504, a victory worth fighting for. In the words of Mary Jane Owen,
I can see.
Keep your eye on the prize and hold on.
days